You are unmuted. You need an order for the mail. I love a good swag. Perfect. I'll put in the name on there.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Should have brought a bigger Diet Coke.
Nothing.
I don't know. I buy the little ones.
Lunch.
Brian makes fun of me because I'll drink like one and then that's not enough. And he's like, why don't you just buy the normal size? And I said, well, the idea was I only drink like a little bit. Yeah, but I know, it's terrible. It's like the only soda that I like is Diet Coke. I don't like any, I mean.
It's the ratio of Coke to water.
I think it tastes good. It's just me. I'm not just.
All right. Okay, it's 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, thank you. Roll call for the council, please.
Smith,
Here.
Anderson. Here. Arsenault.
Here.
Burbank. Here. Ferguson. Here. Bender, absent. Green.
Here. Okay, and do we have Connie on Zoom? Not tonight, okay.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Bender.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
All right, agenda modifications. Do we have any corrections, deletions this evening?
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion carries.
Okay, with that, we're gonna start this evening with another street name presentation for Les Hawley. So, it is a it has been and is a long-standing tradition in Buckley to name streets in honor of individuals who have devoted years to serving our community. Tonight, we are happy to recognize Les Hawley and his family is here. Les was born on October 2nd, 1945. Les's service to our community began when he joined the Buckley Fire Department in 1978, where he dedicated the next 26 years of his life protecting and serving our city as a volunteer firefighter. During his time as a firefighter, Les was part of many pivotal changes which resulted in a tremendous amount of progress for the Buckley Fire Department. Les retired as a volunteer firefighter in 2004. He also honorably served our country in the U.S. Army from 1964 to 1968. During much of the 1980s and 1990s, Les also served multiple terms as a city council member in these very chambers. We are very thankful for Les's service and are proud to honor his dedication to the city of Buckley. Tonight, I believe we are joined by members of his family. Would you guys like to come to the podium for the certificate? Certificate reads, in recognition of a lifetime of extraordinary dedication and volunteer service to the Buckley community, the city of Buckley proudly designates Hawley Avenue in honor of these lasting traditions, which have shaped our city. This street will serve as street sign will serve as a permanent tribute to a legacy of generosity, service, and love to the Buckley community. So if you guys, and if you guys want to take photos, and then if you'd like to speak afterwards, say a few words or whatnot, you don't have to, of course. Yeah, like to meet you guys up front. Yeah, the sun background.
Yep.
Upside down.
Thank you very much.
That's what I spend my money on.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Ron, go ahead.
Holly Avenue, in which neighborhood shall this be?
This,
Sure.
I'm gonna have to go off memory. This will go in I'll write off spiked into the west. Correct?
I thought it was blueberry.
Yes.
It's either blueberry or
It is-
spiked.
it is. Okay.
It's one
We've
of
got
the
two developments going at the
Yeah.
same time, but I think we're starting with because we did Britchkey and Holly will both be,
two, but then we're skipping, but
yeah,
yes.
just to the west off spiked in.
Okay.
Oh, super. Thank you guys for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and this evening, we're not gonna do the audit exit conference because we're waiting on a little more information from the auditors. And yeah, we don't have, Sandy's not here.
No, it's on them, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
No.
Okay.
They have a help desk ticket in on their side, so we're waiting for them to finish their review.
Okay. All right, and next we're gonna have, we'll do public comments after that. Okay. Item C, we're here. Joint meeting with the Citizens Advisory Commission this evening. And I'll call up April, if you'd like to introduce the whole committee,
Yes, I can
commission.
do that. Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members and staff. I'm April Rattray and I serve as the chair for the Citizens Advisory Commission. And with me, we have Kira, we have Natasha, and we also have Jake. And so for tonight, on behalf of the group, I'm pleased to present our 2025 work plan. And this is for council adoption. So our work plan, we have structured around 6 key areas. And those include historic and cultural preservation, infrastructure, parks and facilities, policy development and implementation, public art beautification, community engagement and communication, and environmental health. And so for our 2025 goals in priority order, you can includes 9 objectives. And so the first being the wayfinding planning. And so we have set a goal here and we wanted to start by thanking the council for allocating the $5,000 to support the design review. So we're looking to facilitate the development of a wayfinding strategy by Q4, including identifying priority areas for improved signage and enhancing community navigation. And so with using this funding is going to be for the bid process to select a consultant that will manage the project execution. Secondly, capital facility asset management review. So for this is providing advisory input on the city's public facilities assessment, ensuring alignment with community needs and long-term sustainability. And the city's work plan targets completion in 2026. So this will be addressed later in the year. Thirdly, public art proposal reviews. So establishing a structured review process for public art proposals by Q2 to ensure alignment with community values and funding availability. So we have a policy and application that are complete, and we have initially reviewed and tested our form. We actually did that at our commission meeting last night with the intent to ensure the process will be smooth before we bring any recommendations forward. Fourthly, historic preservation and CLG application reviews. So evaluating the certified local government applications within a 60-day review period, ensuring compliance and historic preservation standards. Fifthly, park enhancement application reviews. So reviewing park enhancement proposals as applications are received, providing recommendations to support equitable improvements in community projects.
Community outreach and engagement, developing and advising on strategies to expand public engagement efforts. 7, healthy parks and open space policies. For this, looking to provide advisory input on at least one new policy supporting sustainable park use and open space conservation by Q2. And with having the audience tonight, we would like to gauge the council interest in revisiting a clean air parks policy that was brought forward previously. And again, this is just with an intent to gauge interest so that we can look to bring this forward very timely since we have set the goal of Q2. And for that, it's really looking at including a potential no smoking policy in public parks.
And on that topic, I just want to build off. Last night, we had our commission or citizens advisory meeting. And while I was there, I guess I just had to ask them, like, why didn't it pass? I was out. I think that is when I was coaching soccer. Amanda was out, and I think there was one other person out. So it was a split decision. And so I encouraged them last night to bring it back in front of everyone, because I do feel like it wasn't quite a fair vote. And maybe if we had everyone, I mean, I can tell you all the work they did behind the scenes of bringing that forward to us, and that's kind of their role in this. And so I just want to make sure in the future, if they're truly recommending something, yes, if we have more questions about it, that's one thing. But if it's like they've brought it before you, it had all the outlined details in it, then I feel like we should do our due diligence here in kind of passing. I'm not swaying a vote, but we should look into getting that stuff moving forward.
Okay. Denise.
So I was one of the council members that did not support it, and I'd like to explain why. Well, I appreciate what the thought behind it. I want our parks to be welcoming to everyone. And even though I am not a smoker, even though my voice kind of sounds like right now, I'm not. I do know that it may exclude some of our citizens that would go to the park. And considering that it is a legal thing for people to smoke, and it is outdoors where it's open space. In my eyes, it's no different than walking down the sidewalk and passing another person on the sidewalk that's smoking. So I want our parks to be welcoming. And so that's why I did not support it. If it was an illegal activity, then yes, I would support it. But considering that smoking for the age of 18 and over is legal, I could not support that.
Okay. Ron.
For the record, I was a yes vote. Parks. I think of parks. Kids and families. We have enough problems at the skate park already with the youth. I work at the middle school. I am fully aware of at-risk youth. I'm fully at risk or aware of older children that are informing them with ill intentions over there. These are parks. I do not believe my colleague who just spoke was the no vote based on putting more pressure on Buckley police. No. That would be another tool in their toolbox, if you will. There are plenty of places where legal activities are restricted. You cannot drink beer in the parking lot of, I'll just call it the Kingdom, Lumen Field, even though drinking beer is legal. Well, not outside, because that's in public places. Government can control where legal activities are allowed to be. You can walk down Main Street, because that's not a park, and you can smoke a cigarette. Smoking a cigarette is so 1990s. I mean, vapes, whatever it is, da 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 da. But I think we really need, as a council, to wrap our minds around this. And what the intent is, I believe it's a message to the community, the larger community, of this is what we support. And I think we need to dig into this. And I'm not trying to be long-winded. I know that there is a limit when something that was brought forward as an ordinance can be readdressed. And so I think we need to be mindful of that as well. There are laws and ethics and things in place. But anyways, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Brandon.
Yeah, it was a solid yes vote on this one also, for all the reasons that Councilmember Smith said. And also, if I recall, this came from the youth, right? The Youth Activity Center originated this. Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't want to,
Yes.
say no to that. I would love to see this come back. I don't see any reason for an amended ordinance or anything of the nature, just as is. Yeah, be happy to take another crack at this one.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Denise and then Mackenzie.
So I would just like to say that if it was not for all the park area, I may be supportive. If it's like, if around the skate park, around the little playgrounds, where there will be children and, a congregation of people, I may be able to support that. But as far as for the whole park system, I still would not support it just because, like I said, I want it to be welcoming to all of our citizens, smokers or non-smokers.
Okay, and did you want to, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, go
she
ahead.
had a
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I hear your concerns about wanting your parks to be a welcoming space. But in our discussions yesterday, it was brought up that we are one of the few cities in the county that don't have a clean air ordinance for their park system. So by no means are we going outside of the bounds of the norm for other municipalities in the area. So parks, if you go to our other neighboring cities, you're facing the same types of clean air policies. And I don't know if you take a step back and think about if you're in Puyallup or some of our other neighboring cities, do you find that their parks are less welcoming to the communities? So I would just ask that maybe you consider that while you're looking at this policy, that we're not outside of the bounds of all of the rest of our neighbors.
Which I understand, but at the same time, I'm looking at our citizens here. I don't know what Puyallup does or Sumner does. I'm looking at our citizens and wanting it to be fair for everyone.
Absolutely.
Mackenzie?
And I was just going to speak to, on Denise's point that they did last night, they looked at another option. So if you're so set on the city's trail system, which was the verbiage beforehand, they are looking at other options to bring forward to us again. So I just encourage everyone to maybe research up and look back on that. But then they did great work last night. They looked at two different ones. They had these conversations. And so I look forward to that coming back to us because yes, it did come from the kids. And yeah, clean parks. I think of the kids too.
Okay. Courtney, what is the time limit when, just to Ron's point, when we're allowed to bring it back?
There is a limitation. I think we may have already passed it, but I'll confirm with the
Okay.
city attorney. What there isn't a limitation on is if there's an idea that's thrown out, you maybe can't review the exact same language again, for example, the next meeting. But if there was amended language or slight refinements to the language, that can definitely be brought forward
Okay.
at a future meeting. And I'll get that exact time limitation to make sure we're
Okay.
not in conflict with that.
Okay. And I think there's another
Yep.
couple on there,
Yep.
but before we
Yep.
get, anybody else have anything? I'll just, Amanda.
I mean, I wasn't there, so, I would support it being not allowed at all. That's just me, because where do you draw the line if you're on the trail or you're off the trail, but you're on the grass, which is like, that gets a gray area for me that like, how do you, and really our police is not, in my opinion, I don't think our police can literally like walk the trail to make sure that people aren't smoking, but it's the idea that it's just not, it's not allowed. So, cause I think if you limit certain areas, that's a great, I mean, I don't know, I would support just that it's not allowed myself, but.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go back just off my memory. I know Councilmember Bender, she's not here tonight, but we discussed this a little bit at length and you guys might have listened to it online or whatnot, but part of that concern was for the police department, you know, and we just kind of bantered around that obviously they're not gonna be tracking people down, but if you've got whatever age, say a legal person in a space for children, and even if they keep their distance, that's not a problem. It's when that, of course, invades whatever space. It's all public space, so. No, I mean, and however legally we can, if you want to give us an option 1, option 2, 3, whatever that looks like. Maybe a corridor of the trail within 10 feet of either side of the trail. If the trail's the concern, I'm just throwing stuff out here, so.
Well, thank you guys for that valuable feedback. In the same theme, there is another kind of open space policy that we are looking to bring forward. And again, just to kind of tee it up, I would say it is specific to the designation of a weapon-free zone, specific to the skate park and the youth center. And again, it's just being mindful of similar policies that are in place for like public schools and when you're, talking about youth. So again, just to kind of preface some of the things that we're looking to present and bring forward. The next to the final two that are part of our work plan.
Sorry, just
Oh,
one
go
second.
ahead.
Did somebody have something? Sorry, I was
can
looking
wait
for
till the
that.
end. I can wait till the end.
I was looking for this.
A few questions, so I'll just
Sure.
hold off till the end.
Okay, sounds
Freaking
good.
mojo up here.
So the policy implementation reviews, so as part of just good hygiene in order, conducting kind of biannual evaluations of previously developed policies, just to assess the effectiveness and provide recommendations for adjustments. And lastly, Miller Park and other space or park space planning, providing input on site planning and budget considerations for Miller Park and other park spacing as funding becomes available. So with that, our next regular commission meeting is scheduled for March 17th. We do meet monthly and we'll continue to look to advance these objectives. And we look forward to providing an update during our next joint session, which is planned for the fall. And so just thank you guys for the time and consideration and just any other, feedback that you guys have.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Oh, yeah. Brandon, did you want to go?
Go ahead.
I already went before. I'll
go
go
on,
after
fine.
him.
I just wanted to know if we needed to make a motion to adopt their work plan, or is it good?
We'll bring it back forward with an agenda, Bill.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Brandon.
A few questions. So, one, I guess we can combine both the art proposals and the park enhancement applications. So there's applications involved in both these. What are your thoughts on the best way to get those applications out in front of the public so they know this is the thing that they should be, should be on the radar?
Question. Well, anyone have? I get to be the only one on the spot.
I was gonna invite anybody anyway else, and any of the rest of you want to speak, please.
Hi, this is Natasha Hackett. I'm also on the Buckley Downtown Association board, and I think that we have a lot of local organizations that we can push this out in front of, and making it available on the website and bringing attention to each of those, the chamber, all of the different schools and everybody, I think will help get the word out that they have these opportunities available. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Did you have another one, Brandon? Was it
Yeah,
you?
I did. Regarding the weapon-free zones of the skate park and the youth activity center, as extensions of the school grounds, I could see for sure like the youth activity center, it's like the youth activity center. I have a little hesitation on the skate park. I don't spend a lot of time there. I break something, but I imagine there's, the potential for like parents going there with their kids and they might be concealed carry, holders that, want to be able to protect their family in those situations, not just like, kids coming straight from school. So I'd want to know a little more about if that would make sense at the skate park also, like what's the frequency of that, if we know that, or if it's just straight kids going from the youth activity center over the skate park. So that's kind of where a little hesitation is, but definitely youth activity center, I could see that.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Brandon. So part of our discussion that we had, about this, because we don't want to infringe on rights, was, there's some discussion, I guess, on open carry restrictions in those types of spaces. So as we move forward with evaluating what that policy might look like, I think it's my, objective to consider that and include that in the verbiage, because you are right, in a space, public spaces, somebody can conceal carry, but, it's more discouraging youth to have things like pocket knives or other types of weapons. And then any sort of open carry, because that in a surrounding with youth can probably make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I think as we evaluate that policy, we'll keep that in mind, with the verbiage, just to try to allow people to still feel safe.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. Thank you.
Okay. Ron?
I'm not quite sure that we can differentiate between what is legal in the state of Washington with open carry and what is permitted by municipalities of concealed carry. I mean, open carry is, as long as you're not a convicted felon and not have your rights taken away, open carry is statewide. Concealed carry has to be adopted by a municipality like the Buckley PD or the Pierce County Sheriff's Office or whatever. So I don't think we can differentiate between those. I know some people get all scared because they see somebody with a open carry sidearm. So I think that's something that concealed carry is controlled by a governmental body. Open carry is granted by the state of Washington, as long as you meet the requirements to do so. So we got to get into weeds on all that, just like in the weeds on the tobacco issue.
Okay, Mackenzie.
Well, I can tell you this group does get into the weeds, so they will be thorough in that before they bring it forward to us. And I've just enjoyed getting to work with their commission.
Okay. Just off the wall, hey, Kurt, just, not that you have an opinion one way or the other, but did you want to speak to any of this just from the police side, or think on it and we can talk more later, but just your thoughts on, what, just from your perspective.
With regards to
To both tobacco in the parks.
tobacco, we already have an ordinance for the skate park.
For the skate park.
That's what I
Just
thought.
Just the skate park.
So
I'm good with
adopting
the
it for
skate park.
With other products in the city, if that's what the council deems they want to do.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just another.
move to the microphone, please?
Sure. That's just another, amendment to the already current no smoking and at the skate park and stuff. You could add whatever park you'd want, really. It is a fine line when you're talking about the trail that runs through, because remember, the trail is Pierce County. And so like when we're removing a kid from the skate park, they can really just go onto the trail and be removed from the skate park. And 9 times out of 10, kids usually take the hint and leave completely, but there is a fine line there. It's kind of a gray area that we work around. With regards to guns and zone-free zone, I mean, the skate park is already, weapons and so parks, you are walking a fine line with open carry versus, but there's other parks that don't allow it. So, I mean, I think it's depends on what you guys want to do, really. So
How about from an enforcement side, what you got a preference or something we could do should we all take this on? That can help you guys, some verbiage or something.
it's smoking is very hard to enforce even now, with juveniles in at the skate parks. But like Councilmember Smith said, it is a tool that allows us to, if we have a problem and they are smoking, then we can contact them, right? It goes from being just a social contact to an actual Terry stop where we can, hey, you're not free to leave, you can talk to us. So it can be helpful, but it is hard to enforce. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks sorry for putting you on the spot. I just want to get a little perspective. Denise.
So just a question, is the smoking issue, is it a problem throughout the entire park, or is it only at the skate park that there's been issues or complaints or?
Oh,
That
no,
or the
you
youth center?
go.
I was just gonna say, this was an initiative really brought forth, the precedent was that the Healthy Parks Initiative and the youth desiring to like enact something specific to having healthy parks. So that's where, right, this all
Yeah.
originated.
But I do want to really pay attention that the Wally's Park is like, that's one of our biggest parks, honestly. And so I think including that in there, it was the topic of our discussion last night. Like, yes, the youth center and the skate park and those kids were adamant, but there also are so many families and kids going to Wally's after school. And so that's why I think it was incorporating like all parks, just because.
And see, I'm not against where the people are congregated. That's, I'm not against that at all. I mean, you can't smoke in a restaurant now, you know, there's signs, you can't smoke so many feet outside of a building, you know, that kind of thing. I'm not against that. But I think if somebody was along River Avenue and there's some picnic tables there, and they were there having a picnic with their family, I just feel like it's overstepping Buckley to tell them you can't smoke there. You know, if it's an adult, if it's a child, if they're under 18 and they're not supposed to be smoking anywhere, then, you know, stop and say, hey, how old are you? You know, you look like you're about 13. Do you have any ID saying you're 18? You know, I don't want us to overstep our bounds, and I want our parks to be welcoming to everyone. So, you know, if we just put signs up at the parks where people congregate, I'm not against that. Right.
Okay.
I could support that.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
All
thank you all for the work, because it's a lot of hard work grinding through all these ideas and what to present, what to bring forward. So thank you for bringing it back for reconsideration, and we can certainly vote on it again. And it's
Sounds good.
new iterations, so.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank
You
you.
bet.
Thank you.
Sorry, come back up. Brad is here and he's gonna have a public comment.
Okay.
So for me, Natasha, again, from the Buckley Downtown Association, also on the Citizen Advisory Commission, and we went through the public art and murals permit application for the first time. So we're working through that. We wanted to let the city know that we will be coming forward with an application for an interactive mural. It will be a series of 4, hopefully, that go throughout town, and it's a metal mural that gets affixed to the building. It'll be a photo of something that took place in Buckley. And we'll have a story associated with it. So people will actually be able to see this photo, scan a QR code, and do like a walking tour through town. So that we can help bring attention to the history of Buckley. So I wanted to give you a heads up that that's coming your way. We're working through that process right now. And then Brad that's the first building that we're going, that is on the application is 691 Main Street right over here. So
Yeah.
Brad can talk more about that.
Mayor, do you
Yeah.
want to move into?
Yeah,
Public
if you
comment.
want to make public comment, we're gonna open that up in just a minute.
We're there.
No, stay there. We're there.
We're there.
We're there. Come
Stay
back.
there.
Stand for dump.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, we'll wrap that up, and we're gonna get into portion B, public comments, in 3 minutes, so on and so forth.
3 minutes.
I think we have.
It's all good. Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to recognize the Buckley Downtown Association and Amy Boucher, mostly because she helped get the ball rolling on getting our building notified or recognized at the Washington Historical on the register or whatever. Without her help, I don't think I could have done it because I can't write a paper to save my hiney. And as soon as we got registered, and that happened in August, as soon as we got registered and or whatever, then they found out that made us available for a grant option, the Pierce County.
I
Yeah, Pierce County grant, and it's to help with the restoration of our brick and mortar that's kind of starting to flake off on the one side. And they're actually pushed the vote back, and it's actually tonight for $7,300. So big shout out. And the building that was in my mom's family before we even bought the building, I didn't know that. I knew that Uncle Dick's had the cleaners there for a long time. I'm 4th generation. My kids are 5th generation Buckley, so we've been here for a while. We want to see Buckley get successful and draw people back up in town. So if we can get this mural thing that the Buckley Downtown Association's pushing for, that'd be great. Eyeballs, people walking the trail during summertime, eyeballs on that. Hey, go down there, scan the QR code, get more buildings involved in it, Scoops and whoever's all down. And then hopefully at some point when we do get the brick and mortar all, restored and everything painted up there, I'd like to do, you've seen driving through Cle Elum or Carnation, they have these giant old school signs that are painted on the side that, we have a giant billboard be in the 2nd story. It's the first thing you see. So if we get to that point, like a Buckley like that, or, some type of sign that draws uptown, support uptown and stuff, so just, I don't know. I don't know what I'm really supposed to go through.
Thank you.
But.
Yeah.
They wants to finish time.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody online. Okay. All right, we just had talked to the Citizens Advisory Commission, but would you like to speak on that?
Oh,
Had anything?
we met last night, just preparing for this, but they did talk about old business. They brought up the skate park and dog park rules with signs design draft. The signage looks beautiful. So I think there were no real tweaks to that. So I think that should be coming forward to us in the near future. I can give you a quick preview. It's beautifully colored and images of like what you can have, what you can't. But yeah, they talked about that. And then we did look at the mural. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to my front page. I'm a mess. We looked at the park enhancement policy implementation. So that again was just, they looked through, sorry. The application. Oh, yeah. So this is just people can fill out the permit, or businesses, or no, individuals. Yeah, anyone can fill out a park enhancement permit application, just describing what kind of enhancement they want to do. So really we've seen around our town like benches, trees, plants. So they went through the permit application. It looks beautiful. So that should be coming forward to us as well. No? Oh, it doesn't need to. They will look at those. And then we looked at the public art policy implementation last night. We actually had a permit from BDA. Yes, they just spoke to it. With that though, we did see just some minor revisions they could make to the permit application, just like specific words, like in 2 to 3 sentences, say this, just that we didn't all really think of as a group before making this. So it was nice that somebody filled it out so we could see what we want to see in the future and what we don't want to see. So it was great. And I just want to, again, commend the work they do, because the group who did fill out the permit last night also put in like 8 pages of supplemental resources. That's different than the permit. So it's like they are putting in so much work reading so many documents. So I really hope we all understand like how much thoroughness they are putting into recommending anything before us. But yeah, and then we just talked about the healthy parks. I encourage them to bring it back up tonight because I wasn't at that initial meeting where it got voted against. So they did a great job with that, and I look forward to seeing it again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to update everyone that parts of River, Ryan has reopened. River and Pearl will be closed overnight. And the reason for that is that when we had the cottonwood tree come down and impact some of the power lines, it impacted some adjacent power poles. So they literally split and are causing a hazardous situation. So we are at the whim of PSC to come out and replace some of those power poles as well as restring all of the lines. So power is going to be out likely overnight into tomorrow. We do not have an ETA for when power will be restored. We will keep our social media up to date. As soon as we know more, we'll let you know. And in the meantime, the only folks that should be on those roads, so that portion of Pearl and that portion of River is local access. So we're trying to restrict that and keep everyone as safe as we can. And then for the next meeting at our study session, we will hopefully have our audit exit conference. If for some reason they are not ready to go by that date, we will be scheduling a meeting similar to our last time that we had our exit conference, where it was a Zoom meeting. And the reason for that is that we need to have everything to S&P by March 7th. So I don't foresee any conflict, but I just wanted to make you all aware the exit conference doesn't have to be at an open public meeting or a council meeting, though the council are all invited, and we'll make sure that you know that date and time. Hopefully it'll be next week. And then we will also review the final design for the Dock Tape Pavilion. So the last you saw that was in September. They have applied for building permits, so it's ready to come back for final review and approval for city council. So that's exciting. And then the last thing will be the employment agreement for the public services director will be coming before you so that's Chris Banks's position. When we took public works and planning and building back in 2023, we never amended his employment agreement. So we're going to make things official and bring that employment agreement back for review. And then the conversation for park impact fees and fire fees, just as a reminder, will come back in April, not in March. And the reason for that is that they're doing fire as well as park, so we can approve everything at one time rather than having fees trickle in over the course of the year. That's all for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. And we have another round of public comments or anybody like to speak for up to 3 minutes?
Bradley?
No.
That was your one and only.
All right, council member comments and go to the order. Brandon.
PCRC update.
Yep.
So we had our general assembly last Thursday, which is basically, we try to get 100% participation. We didn't get 100% participation amongst jurisdictions. We got close. Everyone comes and, gives a fun fact about their city. Passed the work plan, which includes next month is Small City Day. So the idea behind that is to have like topics that are of interest to small cities that we can focus on and work together on. So if anyone has any ideas that you'd like to have brought up at that, like, let me know. They made me give the annual State of the Council speech, which is pretty bad. So if you want to laugh, go ahead and listen to the recording. Also of note, the GMCC work plan is going to include UGA banking this year. And I know that's something that we want to keep our eyes on and keep close. So I think we have representation of the GMCC. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so want to definitely make sure we have a say in how that conversation goes. Aside from PCRC, wanted to highlight speeding on Spruce, and also I think Park is also another trouble spot. Like to get something on the agenda, looking at like maybe some kind of traffic study or something like that, see what we can do to mitigate that. What's that called? Yeah, it's becoming a big problem on Spruce. I know I walk my dog there every night, and people just zipping down. Yeah, so I'd like to see that come up on an agenda soon.
Spruce and Park.
Spruce, and I think Park was the other one that we've talked about in the past.
Right now it got moved to White Log Show.
Okay.
One of the speed things.
One of the
I noticed
speed
that
things.
today. Yeah, because
Okay.
people speeding on that road all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Spruce has been a problem. I'd really like to, I've asked the question about trying to figure out a way to politely request people to use alternate routes than using that until we get that widened out, and hopefully next year.
Mhm.
But it gets too tight down there where it comes back to Maine and kids and dogs, and it's just not, we don't have a sidewalk worth a darn there, so.
Yep.
Kenny, were you done, Brandon?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and just real quick on the PCRC, yeah, my quick idea would be we need at least triple the votes. All the small cities get triple the votes. they
That's a
normally
good
have. Kenny.
Oh, back to the signs that we got, our data collectors that
Mhm.
they can get information off of, I believe, so they could move one to Spruce, cause it's just been on Ryan Road. And then the other thing is there's other grants we can get now too for the like traffic calming projects that just came out. I'm actually doing one for Thurston County right now and same situation like Park and that where they put these roundabouts in the center, which everybody hates, but it gets them to slow down because they have to go around.
Yep.
So maybe something that we could apply for next year. I think we'd miss this season, but
Like we have going into Copperwind, the chicane we put in for the
Mhm.
mailboxes and.
just gets them to slow it down.
There's love and hate for both. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I mean, we
It's either speed bumps or they make those traffic calming circles where you have
Yeah.
to slow down and go around. But
yeah, we've dealt with Park for quite a while. It's a tough spot.
Yeah, the
And we-
little green figures with the flags, they
Yeah.
don't really cut it anymore.
Drive like you, drive like,
No.
They just run them over.
Turtleneck like
yeah, drive like your kids live here, stuff like that, yep. Okay, anybody else? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks, council.
We have our green guy.